All right, so I should be live now, and I apologize. I could not get on the internet in the backyard because my husband is teaching his own class, and I think that the combined internet was just a little too strained. So I have moved up into the guest bedroom where I can kind of get a better internet connection. Let's see, I'm seeing Alina typing. I'm on. So let's take a look at what's going on on the computer with the page. It should be going on. Let's see. I wonder why it's not. Please, if you are in Alina's big thinking business group, and you're seeing this right now, oh, yes, okay, you see me, fabulous, okay, now I can start teaching. So, here's one of my cats. So, we're in the guest bedroom, aka the cat room. So, today's talk is about manifesting big money or big money magnetism, whatever you want to call it. And that is like one of my gifts in the world, which is really, really surprising because it did not start out that way. And somewhere along the way over the last 14 years, I became known as the world's leading relationship with money coach. I mean, if you ask Google or Siri, I come up, and my book, Financial Alchemy, 12 Months of Magic and Manifestation, went #1 all over the world, #1 in 6 countries, 3 of which don't speak English. And so what I want to do today is really informal. We have the free gift page to download the 6 steps of my process, which I promise I'll cover, because actually the download has little blanks to get you engaged, listening actively, so you're actually learning. Oh, a little heart came in. And so, yeah, I will be teaching, but really what I want to do is I want to take questions because that's fun for me. So we had a question come in ahead of time, and I'm going to just dive in, and then I'll backtrack and teach. So one question came in from a woman who's been doing my work for years and did the process and started making money quickly after that, and then also manifested a boyfriend. And here's the rub. Her boyfriend is jealous of her imaginary friend. And her imaginary friend is her new relationship with money, which when I walk you through the process, the money honey, that'll make sense to you, because I have found over many, many years that, thank you, Alina. Alina just posted the download. And so my gift is actually the 6 steps and an audio class, because this is going to be, because of the nature of live, it gets to be really interactive. And for people who want to like just get the info without all the Q&A, I have my most popular ever audio class. I'm gifting it to you also, because my desire in the world is not to just give you some masturbatory, feel-good, optimistic thing about money. No, I really want you to have results. So, as you can tell, I'm kind of a, just talk it as it comes out of my mouth. So, here's my response to the woman whose boyfriend is threatened by her imaginary friend, her money honey. Jealousy is not love. If you are not flirting with other guys in front of him, if you are being a good relationship partner, then he has his own issues that are not yours. So I tend to be suspicious when jealousy comes up, especially when it negatively impacts your well-being, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your money honey. So it's not okay, it's not your problem, it's his to handle. That said, be loving, be compassionate. He obviously has his own wounds, his own monster, his own insecurity. I would recommend A, that A, this finger is A, that you don't talk about your money, honey, to him, which is a shame that you have to like hide this part of your life. Another reason that kind of me a red flag on the relationship. And by the way, every relationship is going to have challenges. Nobody's perfect. This may be the right relationship. I don't know enough. But that is a red flag. So don't discuss your money, honey. Honestly, I don't think that I would want my husband talking about his money, honey, to me. So you don't have to share that with him. But, slay any other monster that has come up that is getting in between you and your money, honey. Don't slay your boyfriend. We're not murderers here. And ask your money, honey, what he says about the relationship, because you will get better information from him than from me. But I keep knocking out my mic. But before you talk to your money, honey, always make sure that there's no money monster in the way, because that's really the only way to get a real clear signal, to get really good information. So, okay, let's take a look at questions that have come up. Hi, Connie. Hi, Diane. Hi, Mary. And hello, Alina. And so let's take a look. Congratulations to Diane, empty nester, wanting to know how to invest. So I don't give investment advice. I'm a relationship with money coach. So you go to Sue Zorman, or you really hire a licensed professional for that. That said, what I have heard from sources that I trust, that I also just believe in my gut, invest in the future, which means invest in renewable energy. I can't tell you which company to invest in. That has to be your research. And again, work with somebody trustworthy who studies companies full time, because I don't. But the way the planet is going, I know you're in Canada, but down here in the States, Clinton, if she's elected president, her goal is to have every house in America on solar energy within 10 years of being elected. So solar, wind, water, I really believe that fossil fuels are going to be dead in the next 20 years. Trillionaires are actually, looking at exit strategies out of fossil fuel and into renewable energy. So really, the best investment is whatever reflects your values and legacy, what makes the world a better place long term, and absolutely work with a professional. So let's see, do we have any questions? Oh, look, I can see myself. So I'm looking for the questions, and then, okay, I'm just gonna start teaching. So here we go. When I talk about relationship with money, what makes me weird and has, got me on every network, hundreds of interviews on TV and radio and magazines and Wall Street Journal and around the planet. And it's interesting because I've been doing this since 2003 when I had my own transformation. And what I've noticed is the money of my clients, the numbers just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So back in 2003, it was really exciting when somebody made hundreds of dollars. And then it became really exciting when people made thousands. And there's been this kind of stickiness of 10,000, where it's very, very common for somebody to attend, me speaking or a teleclass and make $10,000 kind of overnight. But it's been getting bigger and bigger, hundreds of thousands. Now I've got a lot of clients who are making millions, and now we're moving into tens of millions, which is really fun in these short periods of time. And again, I've been a coach for 20 years. I've been a mentor coach, mentoring the big name coaches that you may be working with now. on their relationship with money. And, and I love to do marketing, and I think get real hard. I'm a life coach, but my weirdness, and I believe your wealth is in your weirdness, like my magic touch is with money. And I'm going to walk you through that now. So, and again, ask questions. I love questions because I've heard myself talk for many, many, many years. So, where we began. Let's see. It's getting easier to ask for more money for my services, but I still struggle. Oh, beautiful, Mary. Okay, I'm going to make it easier for you. And by the way, I totally get it. And what happens is what is big and stretchy for you today is going to be too small for you later on. So get comfortable. Get comfortable with the discomfort of asking for what is the right amount for your services, because it will be an ever-moving target. So that's a really good segue to kind of go back to my beginning, which is I am like a poster child for financial underachieving coach, and which is really an accomplishment because there's a lot of competition for that. And so oh my gosh, I'm so overexposed in this. Oh, well, I'm just going to be a very white-faced person in this video. So let's go back to, I got the Ivy League education. I got half a dozen certifications, and I had the vision boards and boards, plural, affirmations, mindset, tagline, logo, marketing message, website, business cards, brochures, and a ton of celebrity, movie star, director, producer, writer clients. And dig this, top this. And I was struggling to make $100 a month living in Los Angeles, the most expensive city in America. Woo! Yes, that's quite a feat. And it sucked because I was really good at marketing and people actually wanted to hire me. And it was like I had superhuman powers to repel money. So I took a class on overcoming sales objections, which gives you scripts on what to say when somebody says, oh, I love your work, I want to work with you, but I can't afford you, or I don't have time, or blah, 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 blah. There are scripts that will tell you exactly what to say. I'm a really good student. And 7 people in a row, I overcame their objections, and 0 people showed up for their coaching calls and 0 people paid. And that was when I lost all hope. I just ran out of ideas, and I was heartbroken and outraged. And I discovered in that moment that I am fully capable of feeling superior and inferior at the same time, because I had such great results and I really had a lot of confidence in my ability as a coach, but I felt like such a loser because I wasn't making close to a living, and my heart broke. Honestly, I was living in my little 1-bedroom apartment that I could only afford with help from Dad and credit card debt. And I just closed my curtains, like made a crypt in my room, and just lay down on my bed and screamed and cried and wanted to die. And by the way, this is why I focus on the topic of money, not because I've ever actually been interested in the topic of money. I mean, I like to spend things like everybody, but it's because the pain around money is really, I think, goes to the deepest pains that we have, because money is used as a measure of our worth. It's an experience of our lovability, whether people want us or value us or not. And at the very deepest level, it really is a measure of our right to exist. Poor people are allowed to die every day. So there's a lot of ick in money. And it's for, another cat just shut up. For, a life coach, that's the juiciest place to play. And again, as being a coach for 20 years, money is the number one excuse for what we can't have, do, or be. So it's a really good place to start. So the reason that I teach what I teach now is because I failed at everybody else's programs, just every mindset, every law of attraction, every marketing. And I'm a really good student, so I would do it really well, but it wasn't translating into cash. And I'm sharing that with you now because I assume in this group, this is a group of like take responsibility, movers and shakers, who go out and hire coaches and take classes and do stuff, and you're having some success. It's a moving target, but you want to go bigger, and you're hitting some kind of ceiling, and that's where I play, is people who are hitting their money ceilings. And you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing and everything you were told to do. And if you aren't getting results, by the way, this is bigger than just money. If you are doing everything you're supposed to be doing and really going for it, and you aren't seeing the results that you need or desire or feel you're supposed to get or you were promised, here's what I have. If I've learned one thing out of coaching thousands and thousands of people over 20 years, when you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing and not getting results, you are almost certainly underneath it, below the surface, protecting yourself from what you want. And that can be really dangerous because that thing you want, you may actually need to survive. But here's the point I want to make is if you're protecting yourself from money, or love or health or other things. And I know it sounds weird, but there's always a reason. There's always a gain. But if you're protecting yourself from money, because we're talking about money, you have really good reasons. You are not a failure. You are not a loser. It is not an accident. So the first step to big money magnetism is to uncover the root cause of why you are holding it at arm's length. Why you are either not making the money you deserve or making it and getting rid of it. I have coached a lot of 7- and 8-figure coaches who end the year in the red. Or the pursuit of money is burning you out. That is not sustainable. If money is getting in the way of love or lifestyle or legacy, that is a monster. That is not sustainable, and eventually you will get rid of it because we need love, lifestyle, and legacy. That is what makes us happy. That is why we're here. So, step number 1, and if you downloaded the handout, that's step number 1 is uncover the root cause. Here's the big secret that you won't hear from other people is the root cause of your money dilemmas has nothing to do with money. I see every day on Facebook, change your money story, change your life. Have fun. Go ahead. Have fun. Money story is the symptom. It's not the cause. So you can play in your head all you like and change your money story. And honestly, if it works for you, do it. I'm not attached. Doesn't work for me. It doesn't go deep enough. So we want to go to where it starts. So we're going to jump back to my story, and I'm still checking to, for any questions. But so what changed everything for me is here I was in the state where I was just ready to die. I was in despair. Nothing was working, and I was doing all of it. My coach, I was a great client. He couldn't figure out why I was so powerful at pushing money away. And when I was in that really black place, I got very curious about what was inside of me that couldn't be with money, which is actually kind of a weird and great recognition in that moment. And I had a coaching call very soon after, like a day or two later. And my coach just had a brilliant moment of insight and asked me a really weird question that changed my life. And I'm just going to say right now, whoever is watching who is in the most pain and anxiety, you win. You win. You are not being punished by the law of attraction police on my watch. You actually have a huge advantage in this process because you are so close to step one, which will make step two and step three and all 6 steps fall into place so much more easily. I was really lucky that I was in such a black place because when he asked me this question, I saw it immediately. So here's the question. This leads to step 2. He said, if your money was a person, who would your money be? And I instantly saw that at that moment of my fear and self-doubt and despair and anger and all those icky feelings, my money in that moment just showed up in my mind's eye as this big, scary, dirty, violent biker dude who terrified me. By the way, I don't have a problem with bikers, but that one I knew was bad. And I knew that if I were could see it in my mind's eye, if I were at a live event with that guy, I would be creating maximum distance between us. And for the first time, my financial situation made perfect sense. And I knew there was no way to have money in my life if that was my money. So I had to get rid of him by any means necessary. That's step number 3. That created a new problem because I got rid of my only relationship with money. And I live in Los Angeles and you need it to survive. And just think about that for a second, because I've heard this many, many times. People who really wish money didn't exist. And I understand it because I was that person. You know, I hear things like, well, it's like if I said to you, I wish you didn't exist and I'm only in a relationship with you because I have to be, because I want stuff from you. Ugh, what kind of a relationship is that? And yet that's the relationship that most of us have with money. Ick, especially the spiritual healer, nice people of the world. So, and it's not an accident because there's a lot of crap that goes on in the name of money. People do the worst things. And so we want to change that. So we uncover anything that has ever made you feel unworthy. Oh, there's the cat. Anything that has made you feel unworthy, unlovable, unsafe. Anything that outrages you in the world, like animal abuse or human trafficking or sexism or homophobia or racism or environmental degradation. There's so much good stuff. Thank you, Mary. Thumbs up. It's gross stuff, and I want you to feel gross. I want you to feel overwhelmed with the grossness of it. And that's when you make all of that a person. Like, you just imagine, you make it up that there is this imaginary person who's responsible for all of it, including anything bad that happened in your life or anything bad that somebody said to you or you said to yourself. Include that. Let's get rid of all of it. So you put this into this bad person who's intolerable and honestly dangerous, because this is not somebody you want to forgive. And I'm just sharing this because the question comes up all the time. No. You don't want to heal this. You don't want to forgive this person. That's all a scam. There is nothing. This is alchemy. Alchemy is the transmutation of lead, as in lead and human experience, into gold, spiritual and material gold. And the first step is called nigredio, the blackening. It's the extraction of everything that is in the way. We're just focusing on the negative so we can suck it out, put it in the monster, and then in step number 3, get rid of the monster by any means necessary. Go to town, atom bomb, lightsaber, flamethrower, machete. Yeah, as a person who mentors a lot of light workers, it's actually a lot of fun to see how bloodthirsty you give yourself permission to be when it's a matter of life and death, which this is. And for those of you who are parents, that's going to be a really big motivator, because it's not just you, but this monster is going to go after your kids, because that's how it hurts you. So you want to eradicate any trace of the money monster. You would, one of my clients ran over her monster with a monster truck. I love that. You know, fiery pits, sharks, go to town, anything. It's worth it. It's necessary. This is you choosing your life, yourself, your vision of the world, and you have to slaughter and eradicate this monster who stands for everything that is wrong with life. Because when I talk about relationship with money, here's the big secret. Relationship with money is nothing other than your relationship with life. Money was made up. It doesn't exist in nature. It's totally invented. It's just a shared fantasy that we all agree that like one handbag is worth $5 and another is worth 5,000, but they do the same thing. I mean, it's nonsense. And we agree upon it. But what it represents, our worth, our lovability, our survival, big, big stuff that matters. That, and you're going to have this relationship for the rest of your life till the day you die, so you have to make it a good one or it is going to dog you forever. And again, I've worked with people who have nothing and I've worked with people who have millions, and the pain, it doesn't go away. It just changes shape. The stakes can get even higher. So wherever you are now, you want to have a great relationship with money now so you can bring in the wealth and keep it without being the target of lawsuits. And what's really sad is when people come into money and then they become the bank and people are like, just love them for their money and not themselves. So you want to have a really healthy love-based relationship, healthy relationship with money, so that you make healthy choices and you don't need to get rid of it. It will also improve your relationship with other human beings. So now we're going to flip to the second half of the process. Step 4 is you meet your money honey. And 10 years ago, I would say create. And now it works best when it's like this person is already there. Very often it feels like this person has been there forever waiting to be with you. And so that was the problem I had, is I just got rid of my only relationship with money, and I live in LA, and I needed a relationship with money, and because I didn't want another monster to come and fill that hole. So I was thinking, well, who would I want in my life so much that I could have that person in my life, even if it was money. And just out of my imagination, I saw this tall, dark, handsome, romantic young man, slick back hair, tuxedo, carrying a bouquet of red flowers, who wanted to woo me. And that was weird. Being wooed by money, that was weird. I'd never felt that way before, but it also felt really good. Step number 4, I met him, and it felt like he had been there forever, and that I'd been breaking his heart by treating him like a monster, which I think is a really important point. When I started coaching, because literally less than 24 hours after I had my transformation, 4 people called me up and hired me at double what I'd ever charged before. And they just kept coming, and it's never stopped. And where I used to struggle to make $100,000, I've made $100,000. Where I used to struggle to make $100 in a month, I've made $100,000 in a month, which is a lot more fun, believe me. So you meet your money honey. And so when I first started getting all these clients, and I wasn't marketing this for years before I got out of the prosperity closet, but I was getting all these coaching clients, so they all had money issues, so I was trying this out on them, and I was failing really spectacularly and wondering, well, it worked for me, why isn't it working for them? And here's what I learned. Because in the early days, they would have money honeys that like dogs and cats and horses and Gandhi and Oprah and future self and fairy godmothers and no. Look, cats know squat about money. They know nothing about money, and you don't want to get intimate with them, please. But a lover archetype, that's intimate, that is equal. It isn't giving your power away, because you have the power to break your money's heart. and you have the body, and this is your imaginary friend, so you actually have the power. So, not teaching you to sit on the couch and vibrate and meditate and all of that, the secret stuff. If it works for you, sure, go ahead. But money is not here as a fairy to rescue you, especially from your own choices. What you want is a partnership that brings out your best, that makes you feel loved, that is worthy of your love, and really calls forth your creativity and your value. Because, wow, when we are loved and in love, we are our best selves. We are our most generous, our most creative, our most courageous, and that's what the world needs. So, you meet your money honey, step number 4. Step number 5, what's so cool is when money as a person is you get to talk. You get to talk, and your money honey will talk back. So I asked my first time, because I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And I could feel that he needed me. And I asked him, what did he need from me? I said, what do you need from me so you can stay with me? Because I could feel how much he wanted to. But I have been really successfully pushing him away for over 30 years, so I knew it was up to me, and I asked him what he needed from me so he could stay with me the way he desired to, and he told me. And that very first time, in I think March of 2003, he said, I need you to love me, and I need you to stop treating me like a monster. And that was so sweet, because I felt how much I'd been breaking his heart. And I'm going to do a quick soapbox on the whole, love of money is the root of all evil bullshit. And I say bullshit. That's a scientific term, because my gal pal Lisa Turner in England took a class on ancient Aramaic last year to study that phrase in the Bible, and that's not what it said. It actually said, and I kid you not, it said, the worship of money can cause you some trouble. And I would be the first one to say, yeah, so that's not what this is about. But love is love. Love is not greed. Love is not frightened. Love is not scarce. Love doesn't exploit. Love doesn't harm. Love isn't sneaky. Love doesn't steal. Love doesn't cheat. That's not love. Love is generous. Love is kind. Love is noble. Love is our best. That's the kind of love I'm talking about. So now we're on step 5, where you talk to your money honey. And now we get to step 6, which is concrete, measurable action. Oh, thank you. Sohalia, I agree. Yes, fabulous. Yeah, so Sohalia says, I'm ready to jump and stop being afraid. So here's what I want you to do. All that fear, super, super useful. Use that and make it part of your monster, and then kill the monster. So we don't want to suppress anything we're feeling. We actually want to use it. It gives you leverage. Because, God, I'm so the light in here is so weird. There's no magic in neutrality. We are working with polarity. It's like a slingshot. The farther you go into the ick, the pain, the injustice in the world, the more motivated you are to make a change that will be really dramatic and that will last. So just changing your beliefs in your head doesn't do anything, because that's actually not where beliefs come from. We're only aware of them in our head, but they're much, much deeper. So we need to tie in our neurology and our emotions and really just go as far as you can into the monster, because like a slingshot, it creates the tension that gives you the motivation to slay the monster, and then all that is left is the opposite, which is love, which is your money honey. A couple of rules about money honeys is your money honey loves you more than anybody in the world. Chooses you. Oh, let's see more things. Hi, finally here. Had some tech issues. Great. Welcome, Kaya. Yeah, get out of the prosperity closet. Oh, good. Mary finds it helpful. So, step number 6, concrete, measurable action. This is where you get to let yourself know and your money honey know that this relationship has changed. And when you want physical real world change, you need to take physical real world action. It just makes it easier. Also, because your money honey is going to say something to you like, I need you to love yourself, or I need you to trust me, or I need you to relax, or any host of other things. But all of this is really good advice, and I want you to notice that there's a theme that what your money honey needs is actually good for you. This is not some codependent relationship where you have to earn his or her love. And when I say make your money honey happy, it's because that's what's going to make you happy. It's always going to be for your highest good. But I've never met any human being on earth who has mastered loving herself or his self all the time, or trusting all the time, or anything all the time. So a concrete measurable action is something you can actually win. You can do. So, and you don't even have to know what it is. You just talk to your money honey and come up with ideas and see how your money honey responds. So that is like a really quick dive into the 6 steps. I go into more detail in the audio class that I gave you the link to. And I want to, let's see if we have any questions, because I obviously don't do this is my first time doing this. And I really want you to take advantage of me, because honestly, my hourly rate is $2,500, and I'm leading my retreat in Bali. And let me tell you about that, because that's a very interesting story. Because I'm talking about all this abstract stuff right now. Oh, yes. Can I tell a story of one of my phases that changed the way I looked at life? Well, this really is. In fact, I actually did my process, my Money Monster process, on love. I created a love monster in 2012 because I was 45 years old, never been married, had been single about 10 years, never wanted to be, not since I chased Brian Patterson under the piano on his 5th birthday. And he was and is the older man. And so I actually did this process on all of my brokenhearted experiences with love. And it was as if love was trying to kill me by raising my hopes and crushing me with, family, friends, and lovers over a lifetime. And I slayed that monster and actually met my husband a few months later. And now we have been married to each other. We met each other August 11th, 2012, 4 years ago. And in the last 2 years, we've married each other 18 times. We're heading for 100 and 100 times. So let's see. Kaya, question about... Yes. Kaya, I think you asked... Let's see. Yes. Kaya, I answered your question about the boyfriend at the beginning of the call. So you'll be able to see that in the replay. And just a quick word to you, check in with your money honey on that. I certainly have my own opinions. And if you need to slay another monster, do that so that you can get a really clear communication with your money honey. The gift of doing this coaching work and having done it so many times with thousands of clients over so many years is I have seen people really on what I call the brink of the abyss. Like, I just don't know how they're going to, the circumstances are so scary. And like, I don't know how they're going to get out of that. And it's my job as a coach to self-manage and not be visible about the freak out. And here's the gift of having done this is I have seen people come back from impossible circumstances and go into really great circumstances so many times. It really helps restore my faith in what is possible for all of us. Tanya, back in 2013, she went with me to my Bali retreat, and she was living in a trailer park uh, and without water or electricity, and had to quit her job to come to Bali with me. I had to make sure that I actually really believed that she could get the job back like that if when she came back, because I wanted to make sure she would be safe, and she did, working fewer hours at a higher price point. But she's actually coming back with me now to Bali in November for the third time. And the reason I'm going back to Bali is another woman that year, 2013, runs an amazing speaker festival in Sun Valley, Idaho, where I spoke in May. And other speakers were Marianne Williamson and Jewel and the poet David White, and just, kind of just a celebrity roster. And I found out, because I didn't know this, that she had made many, many millions of dollars more than I was aware. Moved from the 7 to the 8 figures, and she attributed it to the life lessons that she learned with me. And I mean, I was just happy to see her, because I kind of fell in love with her at first sight the first time we ran into each other in Bali the day before the retreat began and had lunch. So, she's just beautiful inside and out. And she asked to go back to Bali with me. And I said, great, I'm going in May. And she said, oh, I can't do that. So I said, well, I'm going in November. Well, actually, I wasn't at the time. I just made that up. I said, how about November? And she said, yeah. And so I'm going back in November. Let's take a look if we have any more questions. Let's see, what do we need? And I'll check the event page also. So let's see. What do we have? Oh, great question. I love this. Michelle, how do you talk to Money Honey regarding what to charge? Okay, first job is to really dive in with everything you have and create the worst monster that you can and get rid of it completely, because you do not want any messages of unworthiness getting in the way. And like my thing, I think I just knocked off a shoe. My thing back in the day was, despite getting really good results, I was just like, I still really don't want to harm anybody. And I was afraid that I was taking away from them, or I was hurting them or harming them if I was charging. Now, and I want you to, and I will answer your question, but I don't censor what comes in. What I really want you to get is the gift of charging really well. And what that does, and for example, the reason I have such spectacular results with my Bali women is they are deeply invested financially and time and travel, and that takes a lot of courage. So by the time anybody gets there, nobody is there casually. Nobody can afford to blow it off. They will demand to get what they came for, and that's what I want. So for you, never, ever shortchange your client. Do not think of your client as weak and helpless and broken, because that is a crime. To do that to them, that's just really does not help them. Of course, I'm not saying be greedy. Ew, But when you come up with the right price, you want to come up with an investment that will stretch them enough so that it will matter to them and it will be transformational to them if you are in the transformational world, so that they will value it and not waste it. For like me, for a coach, I want the experience to grow them. My client Lindsay said that the experience of just staying in and not dropping out before she went to Bali, when all of her fears and anxieties and the challenge of raising the money came up, she said that alone, who she had to become to stay in the game to actually go with me, she told me that that was worth the price of admission. And that was a Skype conversation between me and her. She was in, I think, Stockholm, before we ever met in person in Bali. So, to answer your question, make sure the monster is gone. Then, here's the trick. Not all of us are really quick and easy visual or auditory, and that's fine. So start with the physicality of your money honey. What does it feel like to be in his arms? What does he smell like? Just be with him. Open your heart. Really, really important for women. Women, when we are financially anxious, it's like we build up armor. We get so defensive, so frightened, so protective, and it's like we can't allow love in, and it really messes up our romantic life and our financial life, because money is a form of love. So we want you to feel very soft, very safe, very receptive. Don't put him on the spot or the interrogation lamp. Just sit on his lap, cuddle, be with him. Make him feel really, really real. By the way, this only works if you've created a monster and got rid of him before you meet your money honey. Then discuss pricing with your money honey. And what this can look like, true story, back in 2005, I was invited to speak at the 10th annual conference of the International Coaches Federation. And I did. And Bill Barron was in my audience and hired me as his coach. Kendall Summerhawk and her mom were in my audience, where I introduced the idea of coaching your client's relationship on money. And now she's built a multi-million-dollar empire on that using her modality. And so I get this invitation, and at that time, I had only been doing one-on-one coaching on this process. So I was like, yay! I just wanted to swear. And, oh no, I'm toning down my language. I've never done this as a group before. So I just instantly thought, well, I'll do it for free, try it out. Everybody's doing me a favor. And my money honey was livid. And he said, no, you don't do this for free. It has economic value. Don't treat me like I'm worth nothing. You're going to charge. I was like, oh, okay, money honey, how much? And he was like, $250. And I was like, oh, no, I can't possibly do that, $10. And he was like, don't insult me. And he came down to like 200. I went up to 15. He went down to 150. And finally, we settled on $40 was the bare bottom that I could charge for my very first group workshop without him feeling insulted. And I actually made $2,000 that day for a workshop that I was going to do for free. So, just make the money honey real. Take yourself out of it. And this is especially because it looks like I just have a bunch of women, and I love my women. So, because I am a woman, so I know what it's like. How we feel about our value is going to change second by second with our blood sugar and our hormones and the last conversation we had and the weather. How we feel about ourselves and what we feel we're worth is going to change moment by moment and is not very trustworthy. So, get your head crap out of the way. You make sure the monster is gone. Then snuggle with your money honey. And here's why we make our money honey another person. Because that way we get like a real direct line to our highest wisdom without any of our personal crap getting in the way. Your money honey does not have your neurosis. Or neuroses, your multiple neuroses, doesn't have your neuroses, doesn't have your issues with what's possible, doesn't have your issues around money because he is money. And that, the first time I heard that was I was coaching a client who was selling her business for many millions of dollars. And we were actually upgrading her money honey because she'd outgrown her first one. And now she had this new one. And her money honey was laughing at her insecurities, saying, look, I am money. I'm made of money. This is what you need to charge for selling her advertising agency so that she could become just a full-time coach. It's really good to kind of step out of our head and all of our issues and get a voice that feels expansive and feels loving, that feels like it's outside of ourselves, because sometimes we can only see ourselves through the eyes of love, which is to see ourselves truly when mirrored through the eyes of love. And that's what this money honey as a lover archetype can do for us. And those of you who have never had a good relationship, if there's anybody watching, because I've coached people like you too, a lot. You know, some people are very happily married. Some people have never had a good relationship in their life. In my experience, over and over again, this new, including my own life, this new practice of this new relationship with your money honey will rewrite your relationship script. My money honey told me for years that my guy was coming, that he'd be really easy to spot, and that I was not allowed to settle down with anybody who didn't love me as much as my money honey loves me. And honestly, the two of them, my husband and my human honey and my money honey, like gang up on me with the same stuff. Like they want me to be healthy, they want me to set boundaries, they want me to say no to super friends or pseudo friends who, just want to use me for my list and stuff like that. I'm getting it from both sides. Okay, so let's see if we have any more. I love this. I actually can see the questions on the phone. So let's see. How do you talk to money honey regarding what to charge? Start with the feeling first. LOL with our hormones. Hello, I'm 49. I'm like really in hormone land. My story inspires Kea. Yay. So we're in the last 3 minutes. Ask me anything. I've been doing this for like 14 years. And you and I have been doing this for about an hour. So ask me anything. Give me your toughest question. And while I wait for a question to come in, let me tell you the story of, what was the most surprising belief I had to overcome? What was the surprising belief? Ooh, yeah, I think I actually touched on it earlier. That's such a great question. Because limiting beliefs, big issue with my crowd. Like when I'm asking my audience what they want to learn, they talk about limiting beliefs, and I even have an MP3 called The Limiting Belief Obliterator. I think that the deepest limiting belief anybody has is I'm not good enough. I think that's like the core human limiting belief. But I would say the most surprising one is that, I had this, back in the day, when thinking about charging people, I would get this idea, but Jesus didn't charge, and I'm Jewish. And I bet Jesus did, and I wasn't there, so why is that relevant? Because I need to eat, right? But I think the most surprising belief that changed for me was that charging money was hurting people, was hurting my people. And when I really changed my relationship with that, that really served my clients and me. And in fact, here's a story way back at the end of 2003, after I'd had my first year with my money honey, and I was making money and supporting myself like in LA for the first time, and then the money started to dry up. And that really surprised me. It freaked me out. I kept ignoring it. But finally, I just had this very annoying voice in the back of my head saying, you better start over from square one. And I didn't want to. I did not want to. This was my thing, and I didn't want to start over. But I got uncomfortable enough that I started over. And the way that looked like at that time, I didn't do a money monster thing like I would have a client do today. But I just kind of went to my money honey and I said, what the is going on? And here's the cool thing, is he told me. And it was like he was really mad. He was leaning against the door jamb, kind of looking at his cuticles the way boys do when they're really upset at you and not making eye contact. And he said, well, 3 times this year, you had clients who said they couldn't afford to pay you and you kept coaching them. And for a little context, because when I didn't have money to pay my coach extended that courtesy to me, and I paid her back the second I had the money before I even paid my rent, because I hate owing and I hate that kind of imbalance, But these people were not like that. And we had this agreement that, well, when X, Y, and Z happened, then they would pay me. But X, Y, and Z happened and they still didn't pay me, and I didn't say anything because it was very uncomfortable for me. And I was sending a message to my money honey that the money didn't matter. And that really hurt his feelings. Imagine if I said that to my husband. It's like cheating on my partner, my romantic partner, with strangers who don't even value me. And as soon as I heard my money honey say, that I was telling him that he didn't matter, and he took that, he believed me, so he left, I felt so bad. I felt like, oh my God, he is right. What a horrible relationship partner I've been. And I really instantly wanted to make amends. And I said, how do I make amends? And he told me, and he said, you have to go back to each of those clients and tell them you need to be paid. Ugh! It was so uncomfortable for me, and I did it. One of the 3 had the integrity to pay me back just part of what I was owed. The other 2, nothing. And my income quadrupled that month anyway from unexpected sources. So my whole framework now is making money by being more loving. Being loving to my money honey because he is a person worthy of my love. I don't even see him as cash. I see him as a person. And when I devalue myself, it is like a knife to his heart. So I want to be a good relationship partner. I also do not make money when I just make choices to get cash. The more loving I am, the more honest and true I am to what I care about, what I'm passionate about, serving the people I care about and I'm passionate about, the more money I make. So my business does not look like my friends' businesses. I mean, it may at some other time if something inside me shifts, but I'm not doing the big JV launches. I'm not doing the big impersonal live events. I'm just doing these little micro retreats where I limit them to like 8 people for my Money Goddess one, 4 people for my Destination Retreat Blueprint one. I'm just working with private clients, working with small groups, kind of doing the opposite of what all my friends do, because that's what feels good to me. And it works financially. And by the way, that's a really, really big deal, is like you'll be told by a lot of coaches that this or that is the only way to do things, which is bullshit. There are lots of ways to do things. And my thing is I want every single, I like to fall in love with my clients, and I like to work really deeply. I like to see really dramatic results. And then for all the people who are not my clients, which is most people by design, and because we have 7 billion people on the planet, then I create self-study programs. I do stuff like this for free. I have products, and I get success stories from that too, which means, yay, fewer people that I have to worry about in the world. Let's see if we have any other questions. Besides the money monster, what holds people back from success with money? Honestly, that's really it. But besides the money monster is really, there is nothing else, because your relationship with the money monster is your relationship with life. It is a measure of how you feel about yourself and the world. If the world doesn't feel safe, if you don't feel wanted, if your experience is you're not being valued, if you're living in an experience of scarcity where money gets in the way of what you want to have, do, or be, then you have a money monster. That's it. And the reason that's important is because there are a lot of outside circumstances, and our circumstances can be really seductive. And I cop to that because I'm a human being. And you will never change your results if your decisions and your life is determined by your circumstances. Years ago, I had a woman who came up with thousands of dollars to be in my small group 90-day group coaching program, who was living on public assistance. This is a woman who does not let circumstances stop her. And over the course of our coaching, and it wasn't a long time, she got her finances much better. She moved into a much safer housing situation, which was a really big issue for her. And she was getting her graduate degree. So she was just really one of my heroes. Athena, I talk about Athena sometimes, where when she came to me, mountains of debt, very little income, 2 small children, single mom. And honestly, within 4 months, she was making tens of thousands of dollars, working part-time and taking money honeymoons down to Miami. And she was that person, when I heard her financial situation and the size of her mortgage and the size of her debt, I was afraid to let her hire me. And that voice in the back of my head said, shut up, treat her like an adult, let her make her own decision. So I just let her hire me. And she has since gone on to marry a guy with the same name as her money honey. Years later, these little kids are now big kids. She's traveling the world singing her inspirational music, and she probably has the best relationship with money of anybody I've ever met in the world, including myself, because she just goes out on walks with her money honey every morning and has used it in every area of her life. Besides the monster, what holds success? And it's not just success with money, it's really, love, money, health. Those are the 3 big ways the universe gets our attention that it's time to evolve. I call them the big spiritual teachers. If money is your spiritual teacher, you're very fortunate, because it will get your attention faster than anything else and will motivate change faster or more lasting than anything else. And the work that I do with the money monster will also change your love life and your health. Every client I've had with eating disorders, the eating disorders went away permanently, because it's the same thing. It's that desire to die, that not good enough disease. Romantic, clients who came to me who were on the verge of divorce. I've got a bunch of them who are like into the 10th year of their second honeymoon. Unless it's a relationship that really should end and is not in your highest good, and then it will end because it's not good for you. Let's see if we have any final questions. So I was going to share a story, but maybe I did already. There are just so many. I'm just going to come back to really the final points that I want to make. And honestly, the biggest points I want to make is the root cause of your financial situation is never about money. I coached a gentleman back in 2007, and his root cause was an embarrassing thing that happened to him when he was 3 years old. And he just carried this shame with him for decades and decades and decades. And that was where we created his money monster, was that one little instance when he was a little kid. And then when the monster was gone, which, by the way, affected not only his financial situation, but his relationships with women, when we got rid of that, and he got a new money honey who really just had great values and healed all those wounded places, he made $1.5 million 6 weeks later. And let's see if we have any more questions. So the point is, the root cause is about anything that has ever made you feel unworthy, unlovable, or unsafe. Make it into a person, your money monster. Get rid of the monster completely. And it doesn't matter where you are on the journey, if you have a little bit of money or a lot of money. You are going to have a relationship with money for the rest of your life. And so you better make it a good one. because your relationship with money is really your relationship with life. And I only call this money the money monster, or call the opposite, the honey. I only call that money. Only call that money because money is that area of life that needs my love and healing the most. And I think it is that area of life that needs our planet's love, healthy love, not crazy, root of all evil, scarcity, coveting kind of bullshit, but really needs our love and healing the most so that we can address the real issues that are going on in the world. So I think that completes my baby's first Facebook Live broadcast. You can obviously reach me on Facebook. And I invite you to, if you haven't already, download the 6 steps and fill them out with what you've heard today. And listen to my very best audio class, because I think I did a really good job on that, on teaching the steps and the principles. And my desire is for you to get this and have a great relationship with money. And my request is, if something fabulous and interesting happens, let me know, because I love hearing your success stories. Namaste. And I don't even know how to end this.